All right, we're going to do different build setups today, or different build types, so that you can have different keys for different things, like a free version of the app or paid version of the app. They can just use different keys to be able to trigger off different things in the app. So we'll call it flavors, even though we're doing build types. It's too late to go back now. It's called flavors. We're gonna go ahead and build project, and we have some XML layout for content main. We're just gonna X that out. I don't need that. We don't need it. We did a basic activity because it gives us some information to work with already. We don't have to build out XMLs ourselves for the most part, but let's see what we have already in the project. Really just need words on the screen so that we can change those words based on the build type. That's the goal. So I'm gonna next, previous. We got two different fragments. The first one and the second. Let's just do, okay, cool. We won't use that, most likely. I really just need the words on the screen. We're gonna go into build our Gradle. That's where most of the magic for this will happen. And we have build types. We have release already that was generated for us. There's a debug, but you're not doing anything with it. But now we're going to do something with it. We're going to put debuggable is equal to true, because if it's not, then debuggable won't be equal to true, and then you won't be able to debug. So now we have our different variants here. We have debug and release. We're going to set it to release and see what that gets us. Actually, no, we don't need release right now. We're just going to focus on debug. Okay, now we need to create the actual string that is going to be different based on build type. That is a build config field. String, that was the type. Then you actually put the name of it. We're going to call it build type. I have a new keyboard. Don't judge me. I'm gonna say the build type, and then we're gonna give it some dummy string of whatever. Oh, you gotta make it a real string. Put those in there. Otherwise, it'll show up as not a string, and the IDE won't know what to do with it. So this is a release build. We're gonna copy and paste. Put this down below, except this is a debug build. These are two different build types, so they're using the same build string as build type. And we're gonna run this real fast just to make sure nothing has blown up on us. And we're going. And then, you know what? I need to see what I'm working with in the XML. So we're gonna grab this test view first. We're gonna use that. And so to bring that up, to just search for the fragment, that is shift 2 times and then type in what you're looking for. We're going to use Kotlin extensions so that I don't have to do binding and all the other things. The bad thing about this is that they can be null, so you got to put that question mark on the end. Otherwise, sometimes this won't work, or it'll crash if this isn't ready. We're gonna set that value to the build config.build type, and this actually might be weird because I think there is a build type already declared. Yes, we can't use build type because build type is already defined. So we need to call it something else. We're gonna change it to my build type because it is mine. And variable names must match in order for them both to use it in the app, and they'll just make a difference based on which build type it is. All right, now we're running it. We're gonna go see what we got. So right now, I think we're running a debug build. Where are my variants? waiting. And it's a long time for that to load for some reason. Alright. Debug. That's definitely not what I typed. That is because I think it still said the build type instead of my build type, which is using the already defined one. Sure is. So we're going to change it to my build type, which should be what I wrote instead of what the system actually has. This is a debug build. All right, success. Now we need to test a release to make sure that it says something completely different. So we're going to put this on release, and we're going to run a release build. Don't worry about the red. You know, Android Studio freaks out about some things, even though. Oh, we need a sign and config for the release build. I don't want to make one. What we're going to do right now is actually just use the debug one and sign it with that so that we can test it. Don't do this in real life because you don't want your debug build signed. You don't want your release build signed with your debug key. That doesn't make any sense. That's why it's released. All right, now we're going to try it again. And more waiting. Build types also works if you have multiple build types other than debug and release. You can have a bunch of different build types and then run those. I think I worked for one company. They had a debug, a QA, and a release. So that was weird, but that was the way it worked. So waiting to build a release. This should say this is a release build if this works successfully. More waiting. And here we are with super long app load time, and this is a release build. Success. We got it going. One thing that I am going to show you now is called init with. Init with makes it so if you have different build types, say you have a bunch of different variables inside of one build type, but you don't want to copy them all, and a lot of them are the same, you can say init with, and it will copy all the build config fields from the previous and give them to that current build type. I don't think this is how you do it. I'm gonna run this to see. Don't judge me here. I think I just have to type init with release. Yeah, that's not right. Let me do the right thing here. And init with release. So now the build config field is the same thing it is in release until you actively change the value of it. So this is a release build even if it's a debug build right now, because the debug build does not overwrite the release build init with. It'll also tell you in the build that the fields that all get replaced by anything that you put. So if I put the debug build here and then I sync it, it will tell me in the build log that this got replaced by this. So it's helpful. You don't really look at it. I mean, you can look at it to do some sort of audit, but it's good that it's there. Checking to see. So now this is the normal build log with how we did it before. And if we run it now, you will see a build value is replaced. So this is what it was replaced with. This is the debug build. So now when you run the app in debug, it will overwrite the release. They look the same, but you might have a bunch of different values and say it's URLs that you don't need changed. Then it'll keep that too in the debug if you init with release. So just a little extra trick that we use when we have too many values and I'm not copying them all. And this is the debug build, same as before. All right. Thank you.